Right, hey guys, and we are back with the 2022 films that I promised I'll be back with. So here it is. So a bunch of films as well. I'm gonna line those up and just give it to you in one lump sum because I think the next big one that I'll be reviewing after all of these in a bunch, I think you know what it is. It's gonna be the Batman. That's right. So before we get to the Batman, let's just clear up all of these again, get them out of the way. So Kimi is pretty interesting. It's a standout solo performance by Zoe Kravitz. And to be honest, the film is meh. It's not that great. Like a lot of the moments are tension, just built with one character and her. She has some agoraphobia, right? The fear of being out in public places or something like that, and crowded places or something. So it's not really very much emphasized. It's just a part of the piece of the film. So this is a story about a person who actually is training some sort of a voice automated AI. So it's like training Siri, but instead of Siri, it's called Kimi in this film. So these are people who listen in to actual people's conversations to train Kimi. And it's just like how in real life too, there's this huge breach of privacy concern when you give the permission for Siri to listen in on your voice and your family. Siri is always listening because in order for it to listen to, like even Google, right? In order for Google to listen to the response or rather the call out, okay, Google, in order for you to listen to that part, it has to listen to everything that you say, right? So Google is always listening so long as you've given it permission to, and which is why privacy policies and all of those things used to protect people are really really important, but most people don't even read them and end up in this sort of situation. So anyway, she's training Kimi to listen to people and understand what they're saying better. So there are certain things that people say that the way they articulate it is just not really normal. Like it's normal in a conversation, but not in a sentence that you would tell them to write. Like some people say that um, it don't matter, or it can't don't matter, or some crap like that, and it's like double negatives or whatever. And then some people say the most biggest. There's no things like that. It's just biggest, right? But anyway, there are certain things that the AI, the way it reads, it wouldn't really understand it. So you need a human person to come in and help it out. And also, some people try to make conversation with it, and so you create responses for it. So she's training Kimi, and then all of a sudden she listens to a murder or some sort of a crime that she hears, and she's not sure what it is, but she thinks it's murder, and she wants to go and report it up to her authorities. And what happens is when she is trying to, she actually has to face her agoraphobia to go out there, but then she's tracked down by these bunch of agents and whatever, because they got to lock her down. They got to prevent the truth from leaking out. And the reason is because the offender, the main offender, is actually the head of the organization that is hiring her, or one of the owners or something like that. So the story is very simple. It's just she's trying to report a crime, and the crime is to her of her own boss, which she listens on, and then she gets caught. She gets taken to an apartment. Some stranger tries to help her. They both end up in a bad situation where they're getting beaten up, and then all of a sudden she gets the opportunity to escape. She escapes. She commands Kimi to do things in the house to help her escape. She commands Kimi to like turn off the lights and turn things on and do some noise and whatever. She takes the chance to escape, and then after she escapes, she uses a nail gun to fight back, and she can just kill a bunch of assassins by herself, and that's it. All of a sudden, this girl is just some super Mary Sue who she flips a switch like Captain Marvel in the end and just beats everyone for some reason. I have no idea how. Like the situation is not so specific for her to struggle. Like you don't really see her finding it very difficult to kill the people in the end as well. Like some of them actually have guns and they're shooting through the roof. Not even a single bullet grazes her, but she's able to come and nail gun people in the face. So kind of a whatever ending, very predictable, very expected, a little bit interesting at the start, with all the high tech talk and the privacy concerns and whatever. Because I'm a tech guy as well, so most of these things are not really new to me. Maybe for some people they may be intriguing, but the way I see it, we know working in the IT department, you do have access to everything, which is why it's very important you have your own code of ethics. when it comes to people's privacy and knowing what you're seeing and whatever you're reading on your screen, be it someone's medical record, someone's banking information, someone's who they're hanging out with, their location, what they're saying or whatever. If it's not relevant to what you're working on, you should just ignore it, which is the way we're supposed to do things. But I guess this brings out the reality, which is a lot of companies don't need to abide by this law, and people don't have a code of ethics. And not everyone is as good as you or me. If you are a good person, that is. I'm not really sure about you, whoever you are who's listening. But yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, for me, Kimi is actually a 4 out of 10. It's a really bad film, to be honest. It's not something that will ever be spoken of in the future. Like, it's not a movie that you're going to be referencing when you're talking about tech or sci-fi or whatever stuff like that. It's not one of those. Definitely no. All right, the next one is The Royal Treatment. Um, this film was terrible, to be honest. They got a good, decent actors, right? There's Mena Masood, I think. Wait, why isn't he up here? There he is, down all the way down here. He's actually a main cast. Why is he all the way down there? He should be up here. And Laura Marano. These two people basically carried this movie. Story is just made to be very bright and colorful and joyful, and it's sort of this story about this girl who's a hairdresser. Yeah, she works in a salon. Hairdresser, is that what you call it? I go to the barber, so I'm not very sure. I think my wife knows this better. But yeah, she's a hairdresser, and then um, she gets to do the hair of this prince. I think it's a Romanian prince, but I'm pretty sure the film is shot somewhere. Like, we were actually guessing whether it was between New Zealand or the Scandinavian countries, because some of the backdrop actually reminds us of New Zealand. We've not been there, but we've seen, like, I've seen plenty of documentaries on New Zealand to know it's New Zealand. And yes, it was New Zealand. It's like this made up country, which he is the prince of, and it's actually, he says it's Romanian or something, but it's actually a New Zealand place. Um, so yeah, at least I think he said it's Romanian. I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched this. But anyway, it's super boring. Yeah, she gets to be the hairdresser of the prince. They have these lovey-dovey moments, up and downs. Very simple, classic drama of how you both first in love, and you have like a fight, and then you get back together, and then the story ends, and that's basically it. And then this, the prince is actually supposed to marry someone else, and then this girl comes in to actually be the person who he's actually in love with, because the other girl is an arranged marriage. So yeah, it's like we've seen the story 100 times. We gotta have it's fine if you have this as a core, but you gotta do something more creative with the way they solve problems or the things around them happening. Nothing. It's just whatever. Like, they even have a bunch of side characters who are trained to address the hair of someone else, and I don't know who hired them, but God, the writing was just so bad. Like, you never needed these side characters in the story in the first place, and it would have been absolutely the same. Like, they had no role whatsoever. Everything was done by just these two people, Isabella and the prince, and Prince Thomas. Is basically about these two people and their story, and how the prince learns to love his people more because Isabella shows him that, and he cancels off his arranged marriage to end up with Isabella. And his parents are super disappointed in him, because they will be. And yep, that's about it. So, Royal Treatment for me, I think it's a 3 or 4 out of 10. Uh, I would want to put it as a 3, but I think it has some good moments. Actually, you know what? It's a 3. Yeah, it's a 3 out of 10. It's a no watch film for me. Just don't bother. It's a waste of your time, honestly. If you really want to watch just some very colorful moments with a lot of white, bright light shining everywhere, that's about it. You're just gonna get two very happy people who are happy throughout the film, no matter the shit they go through. They're just smiling throughout. Sad, smile. Happy, smile. In pain, smile. Scared, smile. Like, I would be shocked to find a photo of them not smiling. Like, even in serious moments, right? Look at them. Look how everyone is distraught, and she still looks absolutely fine. Actually, they all look fine. Only this woman actually looks pretty distraught, I must say. She's pulling off the best expression here. She deserves to be the main actress. That's about it from me for the royal treatment. Let's move on to the next one. Next one is The King's Daughter, and oh my god, this film was terrible. Kaya Scodelario and Pierce Brosnan. Hmm. Okay, Pierce Brosnan, great actor. I think even Kaya Scodelario, arguably good actress. But the writing, the story was just so bad. Like, I don't know. I think someone watched Someone watched what's that? That sea creature romance story. Hang on. Give me a sec. Let me look it up. Right, right. The Shape of Water. So I think someone actually watched this and thought they could borrow some ideas and then mix it up with the mermaid story. But man, The Shape of Water is 10 times the film, whatever this was. I mean, not the Royal Treatment, the King's Daughter. The Shape of Water was just 10 times the movie. No kidding. Shape of Water is a really good movie. The King's Daughter is just the opposite. So it's basically about this mermaid that gets captured, and the king wants to use the mermaid to extend his life. And this girl builds a friendship, Marie Joseph. She builds a friendship with the sea creature and wants to release it. And she's arranged to get married to someone as usual. And at the same time, she actually loves someone else. What a cliche. Is there anyone in the kingdom who gets arranged and actually loves the person they get arranged with? Hmm. What have we learned over the years? I mean, anyway, so she wants to save this mermaid creature, and the mermaid creature's CGI is just like I honestly think, I dare say that I can make better CGI than this sea creature. Look at that. Look at that. I think I could just make a like you may be thinking, really, CGI? What do you know about CGI? Like, dude, I can make 3D models from Make Human Armature, export it to Blender, and then process it. And I think it would still be better than whatever this is. I think with just Blender, right, I would be able to make much better animation than this. Not Blender, I can use Maya. Well, fine, yeah, but I'm pretty sure I can just export this from Make Human Armature and get the exact model that I need, and it will look better than this. It will look like this. It would actually look like this. The lighting, in fact, is just so horrible in some of these CGI scenes. You wonder what the hell is going on. The story is very basic. Look at this. Look at this. Oh God, it's so bad. Like, I get it. They wanted to make it more, like, less human-like. But look at this. It looks like it's made blur on purpose. And I tell you, the actual film too, like everyone else is pretty clear, right? In the film, like everyone else looks like this, a little crisp, right? And then you get this. Like, I try to make it look like this is what it look like if we look at it underwater. You don't have to. You can give us crystal clear vision underwater too. You know, you don't have to just cover up your horrible CGI, which is what I think they were trying to do. But the story is whatever. Look at this. Oh God, it looks so bad. I'm so sorry, whoever you are, actress. I'm pretty sure you have a really pretty face, but your CGI is just messed up. Like, whoever did the CGI for this deserves to never work in a CGI film again. It's just so bad. Like, is it this? Is it Jessica? No, it's Bing Bing. It's Bing Bing, right? The mermaid. There you go. This actress. Yeah, Bing Bing. I think she acted in a few. Wait, what did she act in X-Men for? Oh, she was Blink? Really? Oh, she was Blink. I see. Right. That kind of makes sense. Yeah, she's like a pretty big actress, but whatever. She was. Please don't ruin big actresses in movies like these. King's Daughter, a 2 out of 10. One of the worst movies I've watched in 2022. Yeah, there we go. Since 2022 just started, I think this is one of the worst. Definitely. I'll definitely be making a top 10 worst movies of 2021. Actually, I'm not sure why I didn't do that. But yeah, this is actually one of the worst movies so far this year, and I hope it gets better from here. So yeah, that's it. Let's go to the next one. Scream, 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 Scream. Scream is actually really good. Um, okay, let me tell you. It's not a very good horror movie compared to other horror movies out there. But Scream has always been that fourth wall breaking horror movie where it actually references other horror movies and makes fun of them to some point. Like, it references Michael Myers, it references the Halloween guy. Wait, Halloween's Michael Myers. What's the other one? Um, what's the other one? Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, um, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What else could it be? Hmm. Yeah, Jason, right? Yeah, Jason. So a few of these references from Jason from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street, and what do you call this? Like, Halloween, Michael Myers from Halloween or whatever. So it has these fourth wall breaking references that it makes as time goes on. But it's a super cliche horror film. It's like a cliche comedy horror film because the exact things that you expect to happen happens. People do stupid things, end up in stupid situations, and get killed. And it has a decent cast. It has some interesting approach to the characters, and it makes you guessing who the Scream killer is. Because the cool thing about Scream is that there's always like a mystery behind it, where Ghostface is usually two people. There's always two people who are Ghostface who are actually hunting people. And this is a spoiler review, but I think I don't need to give out that information because I don't want to go too deep into this plot. But it is two people, and they are among the cast, and it keeps you guessing from the start who they are. And unfortunately, it's a little too obvious. Unfortunately, me and my wife, we were watching this and we were able to guess quite easily who these people are, just because we expected the most cliche ending, and it was super obvious who the people kind of were. Like there were some hints and clues in between, but overall it was just a little bit too obvious because there were two people in the film who were just there most of the time and not there, at certain scenes, and kind of ended up in situations where they perfectly get hurt in the right scenarios where they can, like, can you imagine if everyone else get their arms literally sliced off and I get a scratch? Like, doesn't isn't that a big giveaway? Like, if I get scratched by the villain who wants to kill everyone else, that I'm definitely working with the villain. Like, it's pretty. Like, I get it. There may be a very specific scenario for it, but yeah, it makes it pretty obvious. For me, Scream is actually not that bad. I think it's a decent horror film. A good start to the year if this is the worst, because I want things to be way better than this. But I think it's decent. It's a 5 out of 10 for me. Is it a must watch? No. Should I watch it? Well, maybe if you have nothing else to watch, but otherwise, you can skip it and forget about it. I think it's a 4 or 5 out of 10. It's a decent movie, not that great. Pretty whatever, boring to be honest. But it has a pretty good number of killing scenes. The thing about Scream is that it's usually a person. Like Ghostface is a person, so they're just running around, toppling and falling down, stumbling. It sort of gives you the feeling of a real killer trying to approach to kill you instead of floating around or flying or being indestructible or super strong or whatever. It's more realistic in the sense where it's just someone wearing a mask who just wants to kill you, who you can beat up. They can trip over things, they can fall. It's just hilarious though when they're really clumsy about it. So yeah, 4 or 5 out of 10 for Scream. That's about it. Next one is the King's Man. This is actually a 2021 movie, which I just recently watched, and I thought I'd just add it to the list because yeah, I didn't really expect to watch it, and I didn't cover it in the previous one, so I thought I'd throw it in here. If you ask me, in the Kingsman franchise, this may be the worst film. This may be the worst of the Kingsman films. It only had one good scene, which was the fight scene, Rasputin fight scene specifically, where Orlando Oxford and Polly and Shola go to fight. They go to fight Rasputin, Grigory Rasputin. They go to fight him, and that's the only good scene, like extraordinary fight scene in this film. Like as opposed to the previous Kingsman, they actually had like several good climax fight scenes. They had the middle one in the middle of this movie to establish like just how impressive the Kingsmen are. Sometimes even at the starting, just to give you a teaser, and then towards the end, the big fight. And in this one, the big fight towards the end was not that great. At the beginning, the build up was also so, but in between there was the good fight scene with Rasputin, which absolutely blew me away. It was such a good fight scene. But that's about it. The rest of the movie is very hollow, very straightforward. Nothing mysterious, no investigation, no real spy stuff. Very much just walk up and beat people up. And also the last fight, it was really weird because you have all these dangerous people who are after this final boss villain sort of thing, and the villain's very casual about it, and these people actually fly a plane literally over this villain's house, and they sort of like crash the plane and they jump off the plane as they try to land on the side of this mountain, because this villain lives on top of a mountain and there's only one lift to access it. And it's so strange that people didn't see a plane or hear a plane, because the planes, especially back then, right, planes are extremely loud, and especially if you crash a plane, even if you're on top of a mountain, you can hear that echo for miles away. So there's no way they didn't know that they're going to be invaded by a bunch of kingsmen, and then they show up, and then all the people who are there to sort of defend the main boss are just whatever, meh. They're not nowhere near as dangerous as Rasputin. Like, if there was at least even one guy up there defending the boss who could fight as well as Rasputin, the movie would have ended. Everyone would have just died and failed on the spot. But not even one guy who's capable of defending the boss was there, and there's no method that they had to defeat anyone that was truly strong. They really go hand to hand, or they shoot them, and that's about it. There was no gadgets, no technology. no real intelligence used by intelligence agents, which is what put me off for this. For me, The Kingsman is a 4 out of 10, the worst of the franchise, and they should not continue this. I think the original Kingsman, The Secret Service, is one of the best spy movies, probably one of the really funny comedy spy movies, and it was really really good. And this one has no chance to even stand in the shadow. So yeah, 4 out of 10 for the King's Man. The other thing I thought I'd cover for this is the Peacemaker. Now, Peacemaker has been going on for a while, and I really want to go into more detail in the story just because it's really long. And at first, I thought I might not really like it, and to be honest, towards the very end, it's not my type. It's not my type. Okay, let me tell you that. All right, it's not a kind of film which I would enjoy watching. Although I must say I get it. If you have that fetish for that dark, twisted horror where people say the F word every 5 seconds, which is what I think Americans do, because the way the film depicts it is as though people just walk around like saying the F word all the way back home and then back to work. Which is what this movie is. It's basically the F word plus dark humor plus action. You get Peacemaker, and I think it works. Like I think in James Gunn's universe, in a very sick and twisted, weird fetish sort of universe, it works. And I totally understand people who have a thing for this kind of bloody dark humor, twisted sort of concept where everything's just weird and creepy and mysterious and whatever. I think, yeah, I totally understand. But for me, at least, story wise, I think it actually has a decent story. Like it actually has decent character development, except for what's the guy's name? Vigilante. Where's Vigilante? This guy, Freddie Stroma, Adrian Chase, right? This guy's Vigilante. So Vigilante's character is pretty much the same from start to end. Peacemaker actually gets a lot of character building. Uh, what do you call this? Leota gets character building. Clemson gets some character building. Economist only gets his character building towards the very end. Um, Harcourt doesn't really get much character building. She's also pretty much the same towards the end. I think she and Adrian doesn't really get much character building just because the characters are so how can you put it? They're very hardy. They're hardy in nature to the point that the characters don't really get shifted by anything. Augie Smith, who's playing Christopher Smith's father, also doesn't really get any character development. Detective Sophie gets completely deleted because she gets invaded by some alien, and her story sort of changes into a whole different path. But there's relationships between aliens and humans, and it gives me the Men in Black vibes. I think that's the thing. What kept me intrigued is that it gave me Men in Black vibes because it was people working together with aliens to defeat other aliens to protect the Earth, and it felt very much disconnected from the normal DC universe that we have known. Like only towards the very last episode do we see a cameo of the Justice League there, and once again there is no Cyborg. And I don't know why DC keeps slaughtering out the character Cyborg. Like, what do they have against Ray Fisher and Cyborg that Zack Snyder spent so much time to build? Why don't you put him there on the show? Like, even in this film, right? Like towards the very end, in the last cliche moment where Peacemaker is like, "Yeah, you piece of shit, you finally show up and everything is over." You see Superman, whose face is completely covered. Wonder Woman, whose face is completely covered. The only two people who are actually they show talking to each other, actually really there, is Ezra Miller's Flash and Jason Momoa's Aquaman. And no Cyborg, no Batman. I heard Batman was supposed to be added, but they decided to cut him off. And no Cyborg as well for whatever reason. So yeah, it's just one of those things where you realize that there's no saving Zack Snyder's universe in this, which I'm fine with. But including that as well, I think it's just like a little chance that James Gunn put in there just to show people like I care too, and but this is all I can do for you. I can just bring in some of these cameo characters, and this is my universe, this Peacemaker universe. And honestly, between you and me, I hate this kind of story, but as a film, if I were to rate it as a series, I think if I were to rate it, I think it's pretty good. It's decent. For me, it's a 6 out of 10. Is it a must watch? No. Is it a good watch? Yes. Is it suitable for everyone? No. It's a very niche area. You gotta like this dark humor, this dark comedy, this violence, this sort of very weird, I don't know, bloody mess, which is what Peacemaker is. But it's very true and very raw to itself. It's very honest in the sense where it doesn't try to cover up, it doesn't try to pretend to be anything else. It is truly just this horrible, disastrous family that is trying to solve this alien invasion, and they're all just stuck in it together with a bunch of psychopaths, a bunch of people that just can't understand one, left from right. They're just there because they are the last hope, because they are expendable, and they are sort of the suicide squad of today's era. So I totally understand that. For me, it's a 6 out of 10, just because the fight scenes and the story and the music and whatever, it's just that's up to it for me. But if you guys enjoyed it, I think, yeah, I am glad that you guys enjoyed it. And despite me hating it, I still think as a series it stands out. It's very unique. It's very daring. And I think we really should get more of these, just to fill in this void that was never filled up until this point. We never had a series as bloody and as a mess as this. Just because the Watchmen series didn't really deliver, I feel. And Peacemaker really stands out to be something more unique. And we don't have a Men in Black series for now, so I think it stands a chance to continue to progress and continue to deliver. And I'm really excited. So congratulations to James Gunn, John Cena, and the crew, because yeah, this is a pretty sick series. Sick in both ways, that it is disgustingly sick, and sick in the sense where it is pretty awesome as well. So yeah, that's it from me for this one. I believe I've covered a lot of several movies and films as well. I will continue to come back with more reviews, and hopefully better breakdowns one at a time. I just wanted to go through these just really quick because I don't really feel any of them deserve too much attention. Like, yeah, you can sit around and watch them, but drama series and whatever, they really drag you through. No one builds it as well as the likes of Arcane or Daredevil or something like that. A lot of these are just doing their own part, just there to stay for a while. But I really hope that Peacemaker gets a good second and third season, perhaps, to build onto it. Just to show you the series is more than just blood, gore, and fashion. Um, so yeah, and I'll be hopefully back with Batman, which I'll be watching in I think a day or two. Actually, tomorrow. I think I'm watching Batman tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited for that. So yeah, that's it from me. I'll see you guys in the next one. It's been amazing. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for those who stuck around. Thanks to those 300 subs who have been hanging around. I know only 10% of you are actually coming back to watch these things. The rest of you guys are pretty new. So do subscribe, do stick around if you guys want more of these. Check out the channel, there's plenty of crazy content. I do all sorts of random stuff, but it's mainly films, gaming, and sometimes reviews and breakdowns and those sorts of stuff. So if you guys are into that, into what and how I like to dig through things, then yep, hopefully I see you guys in the next one. Take care.